there have been numerous stories and videos and like recordings and evidence of black and brown people either trying to board trains and being pushed off trains, trying to board buses, being pushed off buses, trains not letting them in, trains coming every 15 minutes for Ukrainians, coming every 4 hours for non-white, people in Ukraine, people not getting access to food and water, them having to walk for like 20, 30, 40 hours to reach one of the neighboring countries. There've been a lot of reports, particularly from like Poland, of black and brown people reaching Poland and being literally pushed out at the border, as in like literally going through absolute hell to reach the border, and then not even being allowed in once they have literally risked their lives to get to the border. Like Ukrainians first, like that's kind of like, I think the people that are on the ground helping, the Ukrainians on the ground that are organizing the movement, are literally going around saying Ukrainians first, physically pushing black and brown people off transports and away from that food and resources. I mean,
on the one hand, obviously you've got the fact that it shouldn't be Ukrainians first. It should be anyone who's fleeing this conflict
Danger.
That should get it. And secondly, what does it mean to be Ukrainian? You know what I mean? Like, why is that?
It's a made-up thing. Like, nationality is literally imaginary. Like, we speak about it all the time on the show. Borders are imaginary. Nationality is imaginary. Like, at the end of the day, like, and it's crazy. Like, and I've seen a lot of outrage, from black and brown people coming forward to be like, we're in, like, you guys are in the midst of a war, right? You have lost everything. You have lost your homes, your belongings, your friends, your family, even, and yet the one thing you still cling on to is racism. And it is insane, and it is such an interesting like phenomena to be able to look in on, because it's like, it is true. And I remember like seeing it even like throughout COVID, for example, like any times, like there are situations where you think, okay, this might be an exception, racism might not play a part here. All of a sudden, like, they still have time for racism. It's literally insane. I think CNN like actually released an article literally like saying that it's true, like it's happening, and I think as a result of that, the Ukrainian authorities did actually create a designated helpline specifically for non-white Ukrainians that are trying to flee. Like, that's how bad it has gotten and how much media traction it has received. Like, the actual Ukrainian authorities have had to go as far as creating a dedicated helpline.
Yeah, and I think as well it kind of overlaps with the way in which this travesty has been covered and also responded to as well. When you think about the number of people that have like, again, this sort of like social activism, like saying, I'll go support Ukraine, I stand with Ukraine, etc., which is great, but then it's like, well, where are you when this is literally happening everywhere else in the world?
That's what I want to speak about next week in more in depth, because the way that like ethnic minorities and victims of like war or war-torn countries have been gaslighted, the way that you can see the world actually can care and stand up and direct resources and take political stances is, I'm not like, and it's not, this is not a conversation to say, oh my god, why are you doing it for Ukraine? Absolutely, it needs to be done for Ukraine. Like, they are in need, like, and like, as I said, like, complete solidarity, but there's a conversation that needs to be had about why it's not happening for other places in similar conflicts. But that's, we'll touch on that.
I think as well, it's just, again, like I say, we don't want to like touch too much on it, but I saw I think it was The Independent maybe, that did like a series or like a thread of tweets, and it was all about the people who, in a rather bizarre turn of events, have been told that if British citizens want to up and go to arms,
right? Do you know what? We might as well just talk about it, right? We might as well just talk about it. Yeah. What is that about?
Like, but why?
What is that about?
What is it that like justifies like that? You know what I mean? Like, why is it that? I mean, if surely if we were going to intervene in this conflict, we would send our own military. Right? Surely that's the way things work, not just random people. Like, this isn't like the Middle Ages, like, like calling people, oh, you've been called up to,
there's no conscription here.